Can you build a fire in your fireplace? How about your spouse or your responsibly aged children? I had something happen not long ago that really caught me by surprise, and I wanted to address it, talk about it a little bit, as well as demonstrate to you the pure genius idea that I came up with to prevent it from happening in the future. The house that we live in, like many of the houses that we've lived in before, like probably many of the houses that you live in, is heated by a furnace. We have a gas furnace stuffed away somewhere up in the attic that we never see. We walk to the wall and we press the button on the thermostat and tell it to get warmer, and it gets warmer. That's all there is to it. We also, much like your house probably, have a fireplace that we don't use very often to heat our house. It's more decorative, more ornamental than anything else. We build a fire in it when it's one of those cold, dreary evenings and we think, gosh, it sure would be nice to have a fire in the fireplace. And anytime that we have a fire in the fireplace, I've built it. So about a week ago, we had some gnarly weather come through. It got really cold and it rained a lot and the power went out. So in the middle of the day while I was at work, I got word from my wife that it was raining and flooding and the power was out. My immediate thought was of that furnace in the attic not doing any good, because although the pilot light will continue even though the power's out, that's about all that it's going to do. It's not going to heat the house. It's not going to distribute any heat throughout the house. So amid other concerns, I boogied on home from work to build a fire so that my family wouldn't be cold in case they were wet. It wasn't until later that day, after the power had come back on and everything had settled back down, that I had a bit of a conversation with my wife, and I asked her if I had been gone, if I had been on one of my several-day business trips, would she have been able to build a fire in the fireplace? She said yes, with the pile of firewood out in the back, that she would have been able to build a fire in the fireplace, but that it would have taken a little while, would have taken some doing. Now, my wife is a pretty hardy woman, having grown up partially on a farm and having grown up with brothers. She's no stranger to making fire. But you know as well as I know, if you're somebody, even if you're somebody who makes a fire frequently, once in a while you just have that, I don't know, failure where you've built the perfect little teepee over the top of your crumpled up newspaper and you light it off, and in no time flat you have a smoldering pile of nothing, and it's not keeping you warm and it's not doing you any good. Well, imagine, if you will, you're a mother at home with two small children who has just come inside and everybody's wet, and you discover the power's out and the house is cold. So how much stress is that going to be? Even if you can make a fire, you're capable of it, how much more stress is that going to be while you're fiddling around with the matches or the lighter, trying to find something that will light and keep your house warm? So my solution is to keep a bag of fire close at hand where my wife knows it's at, so that if that occasion arises again, she can go straight to it and at least get a fire going and heat up the house. Now, you could use something simple like the fire logs. I have fundamental problems with those in that they are purely compressed trash and smell like such when you fire them up. But all you have to do is light the corner of them and they will transform into a fire, whether it be something to start your good wood ablaze, or whether that's the only fire that you get. So I have no problems with those in this sort of a sense. But I figured everybody has access to a paper bag. And everybody, I don't know, most everybody has access to a 12-inch piece of a 2x4. And those are the items that we're going to use to build the patented Flying Squid Bag o' Fire. First, take your 2x4 and shave off a bunch of it. You're going to want to shave off more than what it seems like is necessary. Don't be stingy. Remember, this is your wife and kids that you're keeping warm here. So shave off a big old pile. Now when your arm's tired and your pile of shavings is sufficient, go ahead and pile them up here off to the side. Take your 2x4 and we're going to split it. Best way to split it accurately is going to be to put your axe on top of it, or your hatchet is in this case. Hit it with another piece of wood. Split it a couple more times. So that now about half of your 2x4 is turned into like this. About, I don't know, about a 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch will be sufficient. I'm going to sharpen the end of 4 of these guys. Doesn't have to be killer sharp, just sharp enough to stab through paper. Make sure when you're sharpening them that your shavings are winding up over here in your pile. No sense wasting effort. Now set your 4 sharp sticks aside, as well as this miscellaneous business. And you're going to take the last part of it and chop it into, I don't know, about 3 pieces, depending on how it splits. The goal here is larger pieces, kind of like that. So now we have sort of small, medium, and large-ish building blocks for our fire. Now this stuff can pretty easily be substituted. I did this primarily because I feel like everybody has access to a foot-long piece of 2x4. But if you have, like me, if you have tons and tons of planer shavings or draw knife shavings, you can substitute that in there. You can probably even do paper, but the point is you want to have something that when it burns will burn for a little while, but is still very, very easy to catch a light. Additionally, these guys right here, if for some reason you can't find a 2x4, but you can find maybe some dowel, you could replace that with 4 pieces of dowel. But here's the simplified version. So we're going to take all these and we're going to put them together in one nice neat little package, because after all, we are trying to make this easier for our spouse, child, grandparent, what have you. What I came up with to package this neatly, make it easy, is the good old paper shopping bag. What you want to do with your shopping bag, fold it up right about where this crease is here, where the flap folds over there on the bottom. That's where you're going to stab these guys through. Be careful when you're doing this so that you don't stab yourself. I don't want to be responsible for all that. Stab it through, all the way through the bag. This doesn't have to be perfect. You're just kind of making a little grate inside here. I could have done it with 3 of them, I guess. We'll put the 4th one in there anyhow. Alright, after all said and done here, here's what I've got. Just a little grate inside there. Next move, take your knife, and right here, where that makes that nice little triangle, go ahead and cut that out. Just 2 cuts. Don't cut your finger again while doing it. Just cut it out so you get a little opening there. Put this guy back, down, however you want to call it. Take all this goodness and put it in there. suddenly that pile that felt really huge while you were carving it gets pretty small. So, now that you've got all that done, take it, shake it a little bit so that your tinder is pretty close to the opening here. And now take your bigger stuff and put it on top of your little grate. You just throw a little handful of it on here. There we go. That's it.
And now when that situation arises, all one needs to do is put the patented flying squid bag of fire in the fireplace, ignite it in the opening, and sit back and watch as the smaller shavings ignite the larger pieces, which in turn ignite the larger pieces and burn down to a beautiful bed of coals on which to put your firewood, rather than burning out like a big ball of newspaper wood.
Now, of course, the best solution to this issue would be purely to teach your family members how to build a fire. Now, I realize that's not always practical, and let's face it, you haven't done it yet. So, until you do, here's a stopgap in case that situation ever arises. I hope that you enjoyed the video. I hope that you found it informative and helpful. And if you did, please click the thumbs up. If you did not, if you disliked the video, go ahead and do it. Click the thumbs down. But if you click the thumbs down, please do myself and yourself a favor and leave in the comments the reason why you click the thumbs down, so that I may do my very best to make the videos better, to make the upcoming videos better, so that you don't have any excuse to click the thumbs down. If you haven't done so already, go ahead and click that little subscribe button. That way you're up to date as the new stuff comes out. And if you have an inclination to help support the channel, hands down, the best thing that you can do is to pick whichever flying squid video is your very favorite and share it. Share it somewhere. Share it on your Facebook, or share it on your Pinterest, or your, I don't know, do people still have MySpace? At any rate, share it somewhere. That way other people can know how to build flying squid bags of fire and keep their loved ones warm. So, I appreciate your time. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video.